Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Welcome to the Spotlight podcast, a new series where we will spotlight certain players, certain aspects of Cardiff City's team, or maybe even Cardiff City's academy. This will generally be a pre-recorded series, but I thought I'd boot it off with a nice live as I'm away for the end of the week. So I just thought, why not? Why don't we talk about Yousef Salich and what he brings, what we can look at in terms of if he goes and where we're left. If others go before, does that mean he won't go? It's all very interesting. People getting all very het up about transfers, but it's only the 1st of July. Relax. There's some exciting stuff in the works. What I can say is I believe in the last 24 hours or so, Brian Barry Murphy met a potential midfield signing, which is exciting. Hopefully, I will be very excited if they can put it off. On a side note, we've got some really interesting videos coming up tomorrow. We've got Perry NG video later in the week. Got a video on Darko Giabi tomorrow. We've got a video on Isaac Davis. We've got a video on a few others. I've got some really interesting videos. We've got some live shows in the evening as well. So it is, and it's non-stop on the channel. I am so sweaty. I just come straight from my lads' football training. All very flustered. So be kind. We're going to have a nice little chit-chat about Yousef Salich mainly. And look, I've had a lot of messages saying about Callum Robinson, Perry NG, and O'Dowda not being in the training videos. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I tried to, I said the other week, like, I don't think Callum O'Dowda, or the other day, I don't think Callum O'Dowda will be here at the start of the season. Now, in my opinion, that's not the end of the world, but he is a player I would have probably preferred to have kept. He's one of the few senior players that I think has been a really good influence on the group as a whole. And I know, and as I also said, Brian Barry Murphy was bringing in one other guy, Kevin Gibbons. For those of you who pay close attention, you will recognize him from the thumbnail where we talked about potential coaches. So he's in. Gavin Ward stays. People have got some varying views on Gavin Ward. I thought I'm quite happy with it. I've heard really good things about his coaching. He's very hands-on. And interestingly, he's had a few other job offers as well. So he's obviously got a fairly decent reputation. On the flip side of that, people didn't like that he was so vocal on the touchline and seemed to be so front and center at times last year. But I think that might have been because the manager was quite calm and quite quiet. I would expect fully that the main source of the instructions this year on the sideline will be Brian Barry Murphy, will be Lee Riley. But I think even Gavin Ward's fine. It'll be interesting. It will be interesting because, again, it's still a small coaching setup. You know, there's a lack of what you'd say is an out-and-out defensive coach or a set-piece coach or some of these other things that you could have. But it is what it is. Steve, got a video out tomorrow lunchtime on Darko Giabi, so that'll be a really interesting video. Among others, we've got loads of different things. It is warm. I'm sticky, and it's not nice. But I'll try and answer as many questions as possible as we go. And it's not going to be a super long show tonight, I've got to say. But this Spotlight series will be generally is going to be a pre-recorded video series, and there's going to be two elements to it. There's going to be an academy spotlight, and there's going to be a spotlight series, and it'll be looking at certain players. So the first couple of spotlight videos on the first team, Perry NG, Isaac Davis, Keane Ashford, I think are the first three. Academy, we're looking at Will Spires, Manny Barton, and I think I didn't do one on Dylan Lawler because I'm going to do a bit of a mix on him, but I probably will do one on Dylan as well. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. And it's going to be interesting because I know like people have been messaging me saying, oh, they're not in the videos. I think Perry NG was in a couple, from what I gather. But look, if we sold Callum Robinson, I would say, or I'll ask you this: if we were to sell Callum Robinson, do you think that means there is more or less chance of us selling Yousef Salich? Because you'd have to think that we ain't going to sell both of them. In my opinion, Cardiff have to walk the walk. They've been very open about we don't have to sell anybody. Well, Yousef Salich is the one player in that squad for me, probably alongside Dylan Lawler. And look, there's others who I would like not to sell, right? But Dylan Lawler and Yousef Salich are the two that you are going to have to break the bank to get them off me. If I'm making the decisions, you'd have to give me a fortune for both. Other players, everyone's got a price, in my opinion. But those two, because they're the most difficult to replace in different ways. Dylan Lawler, from a long-term point of view, like Dylan Lawler, for me, is someone that we should be building the defense around, probably a future captain. Yousef Salich in the now, I think he's so difficult to replace. I just can't see, and I've been looking to see if I could find like a striker who would come and play League One football, or is already playing League One football, who has the all-round skill set that Yousef Salich has. Now, look, Yousef Salich has still got a lot to prove. He's still got to build on what he's been doing, but the signs are good. The attitude, the motivation, the work rate, but also the finishing, the runs he makes, I think, are very intelligent. His link-up play has been good. If Salich gets injured, who's the backup? Now, I would like it to be Isaac Davis, because I think having a mobile striker to change the system up a little bit and a bit more of a direct striker with a bit more pace, that could be exciting. Unfortunately, because these days, right, gone are the days where you need 4 strikers, like 4 number 9s as such, because teams, we don't play 2 up front very often. So you tend to go in with sort of 2 strikers and then maybe like a third who can play elsewhere. So would you be happy with going into the season as Yousef Salich, Callum Robinson as your backup, and then Isaac as the one who can play sort of elsewhere? And I suppose Robinson can too. Robinson can too. The interesting thing is, from a fitness point of view, I don't think you can rely on Davis or Robinson. And I don't mean that as a dig at them. They can't control their fitness, their injuries and stuff like that. You can't do anything about it. As long as they're doing the right things to stay fit and look after their bodies, they cannot like just stay fit and play like 30, 40 games. I'd love to see it. Because I really think Isaac Davis could kick on this season. I think he's so direct in his pace. I think that could really make a big difference, particularly how we're going to play. I saw some people on Twitter earlier saying, it's going to be shit football and the Brian Barry Murphy. And I was like, wow. Like, the one thing I don't think it'll be is poor football. Even if we are poor as a team and we end up not doing very well, I still think the football will be pretty good. Like, but it is what it is, isn't it? People just like something to moan about, I guess. Let's have a look at some of the comments and see who's about. Paul, welcome. John, welcome. Jonathan, welcome. Mark, Jeff, Josh, Steve, Lewis, Suze, Mark, Lewis, Steve, Ian, CCFC Insider, Dan. Welcome, one and all. I can see you all. Like, let's have a look at some of these comments. Nice kit side from Josh. Yeah, it's the Ajax Bob Marley one. It's because I want Cybert Manswerk to return. No, it's I just like the kit in it. It is cool. It's sticking to me, unfortunately. We'll have a nice Cardiff City World football shirt very soon. I reckon within a week they'll be in my hands. Can't wait. Hope you got yours. Maybe I'll give one away. Who knows? Paul says Yousef Salich will do the business at this level, no doubt. But we need goals from elsewhere. We can't always rely on Salich. Either we need another striker or a midfield have to contribute. I think that's interesting. I'm thinking of doing a video on like where are the goals going to come from this year, because you are right. You can't put it all on Salich. You'd like to think Isaac Davis, and if Callum Robinson's in the squad, then you'd like to think both of them chip in with a few. Kean will chip in with a couple. But, you know, the Rubens, the Robertsons, the others have got to chip in more. Turnbull's got to chip in if he's still here. So it's certainly an interesting thought, isn't it? Lewis says, do you know where Robbo and O'Dowd are? I don't know where they are, mate. I don't know if they're just, you know, carrying knocks or if they're elsewhere. I'm really sorry. I know there was a guy about 18 months ago who got really frustrated if I had a drink while I was on air, but it's really, really hot and I got a really dry voice because I've been shouting at the football. Defensive midfielder, Josh, yes. If that's the question, I think it is. I look, all I can tell you is this, right? Is I do think Callum O'Dowd is going. And that's an educated guess, shall we say. Perry NG, I've heard less about him going. So I like I've said before many times, I won't make stuff up to keep people happy. Like I'll say what I've heard, and we'll say like what I haven't. Like on the Bale stuff today, all the people who I've spoken to, who I trust 100%, say that rumors of a second bid at the moment are just not true. But I hope they do become true, and I hope they are true, and I hope it just hasn't filtered down to the people I speak to. But there's a couple who I speak to, I you know, they would know, like, you know. But we shall see. You know, the fact that Gareth Bale talked about it in public, generally, I would have thought meant that something will come back, you'd think. But I do think that today's rumors, if you like, is hyping it up in it, and it's putting pressure on the board, it's putting pressure on the club, and maybe that bid is on the way. Even if it hasn't gone in, maybe it is on the way, and it's hyping it up and all that sort of stuff. Again, I will say, I won't make stuff up. I will say stuff as I hear it, know it, whatever you want to say. Like it is what it is. Like, you know. Evening, Ian. It is too warm, mate. Jonathan says Gavin Ward would get questioned after last season. The goalkeeping wasn't good, but that's just because the goalkeepers are not very good. Is it not? I have heard that we might get a young keeper in. I think I said that the other day. Like I think I do see us getting a young keeper in. There's a couple knocking about that I think we've had an interest in at different times. I think there's one in particular that Brian Barry Murphy likes from within the City group. So I don't know. It remains to be seen. Dan says, do a spotlight on Nyakahawa. Yeah, definitely. I think I will. Got to learn to pronounce his name properly first. CCFC Insider says, I would have liked to have seen Bloxham or Hutton involved, but if BBM has decided this is the best group of staff, then we'll have to back that. Yeah, I am a little surprised, especially Bloxham, I thought would be in there, but Hutton as well. And I felt that they matched his kind of philosophy and the way he wants to do things. But there's obviously a reason he's gone with two people he tried and trusted. He's got the keeper coach who already knows everything. And then I'm sure there'll be coaches from the younger setup to, you know, help him with stuff like setting up and that. The most important thing is that the message gets across and the strategy is clear so that everyone understands their role and how the manager wants to play. Ultimately, the proof will be in the pudding. Like, if we are defensively all over the place, then people are going to be asking questions. Why didn't he have a defensive coach? If we're pretty good, but then at set pieces, we're absolutely appalling, people will ask the question of why haven't we got a set piece coach? It's one of those things like that. If it goes well, it goes well. And if it doesn't, then questions will be asked. The same with anything, I guess. John says Salich will be a key player in that. If he leaves, would others like Colwell, Robertson decide it's time to leave? I think there's a few which fall in that kind of category whereby if they get sold after being quite public about we don't have to sell anyone. I think if you then sell Robertson, Colwell, Salich, Lawler, I'm trying to think if anyone else would fit into that sort of role. I think then certain players will ask questions and they might be more inclined to go, do you know what? You're not serious or whatever. I don't know. Sue says we have to stand firm on Salich. I agree. I would ask sky high money for him. Absolutely ridiculous money. Yeah, there's no way we can sell Robinson and Salich. So if Robinson is to go, then that would be a good sign, I guess, in terms of Salich, you'd think. Dan Lowe says, personally, I'd be happily sell Robinson, NG, and Callum O'Dowda if it means keeping Robertson, Salich, and Lawler. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, mate, to be honest. I said at the end of the season, and I kind of stick by it, if it comes to it, I'd rather keep all the players under 25 and change the senior players. I don't feel let down by the younger players last year, if I'm honest. And I don't want to pick out individuals, but ultimately, I don't feel let down by the youngsters. I feel let down by the senior players. I guess that is what it is. Dan Pritchard's in the chat. Welcome, mate. Hope you're good. John says if Salich gets injured, we'd sell Robinson without bringing a striker in. We're up a creek without a paddle. I agree Robinson should go, but we can't rely on a Tete. Maybe I didn't even take a Tete into the mix. I think Isaac Davis is the one in it, but his fitness is a worry. Because if Salich gets a knock and he's out for a few games, suddenly there's a lot of pressure on Isaac to play every game. And then, I think you've got to bring someone in, haven't you? Maybe it's easier if you bring in someone like, I don't mean necessarily Lewis Kumas. I know he's been linked with championship clubs, but that type of profile of player who can play wide, but in an emergency can play through the middle. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's how you get around it. There's a few players in the academy as well who can do a job. Josh says a similar profile to replace Yousef, Nathan Lowe, but no, we need to keep him and get someone like Lowe as well. Salich needs help. He says Tete is not very good. Lewis says we'll find out who's leaving when they go to Spain next week. See who doesn't go. Yeah, possibly. Nathan Lowe, I think, is out of our price range unless we sold like a Salich or someone. Josh says Salich, new signing. And Isaac as a different option. Isaac to rotate and support as a right wing centre forward. Also, injury record says you need 3 strikers. Yeah, I think you've got to have Salich, Isaac, and one other. And it's who that one other is. Do you go with Callum Robinson or do you move him out and maybe go? Someone just said that Lowe is a bit cheaper, actually. He's 2.5. John Watkins says, to be fair to Robinson, is more than a decent striker at this level. He could still be an asset to us. So I guess my question is with Callum Robinson is this, right? Is as we are now, if you play your best 11, I don't know if he gets in. Because I don't think he gets in ahead of Salich, and I think there's others who play in the other positions probably ahead of him. Would he be happy on the bench in League One as a rotation option? Would we be happy playing his wages, which are high, for him to be a bench option? And when you look at it like that, from his point of view and from the financial point of view, it does seem like more likely that he might move on. But I don't know. Maybe we sell Salich and keep Robinson. I don't know. This club is weird. Daniel Ola is another one. Big lad, good player. There's a few in you. And it's going to be exciting. John says we should get Jaden Dans on loan. Not bad shout. Paul says if we sell Salich, I'd hope it was abroad rather than a championship or Prem. but I see us keeping him. He's important. Finding another goal scorer will be difficult in League One, and that's my worry. Is I just don't think that. I just think his all-round game is very good. He's a very well-rounded player, and I'm just not sure that. I just think it'd be difficult to get another player as well-rounded. But I guess you just find someone with different skill set and different attributes that can fit the way we want to play. It's not, no one's irreplaceable, are they? But I think for where we are at this moment, we kind of need him, I think, to get back up. Dan Lowe says something which I was interested in, like breath of fresh air, hearing Barry Murphy yelling, break the lines in the training video. Yeah. I think this is what is going to be really enjoyable to watch with Cardiff this year. Is it's not just about possession with him. He likes to move the ball quick, and then he likes to transition through the thirds quite quickly as well, whether that's by creating an overload in the middle or working it wide. He likes to do it at speed, and I just think that could be really key to unlocking some of these players that we already have. CCFC Insider says Jaden Dan spent half a season injured, so we don't want another injury-prone player. Yeah, I think that it's important that when we're scouting players, we do a full workup on them, not just their skill sets and their attributes and their traits and their different metrics than all the data they get. I think it's important, and I hope the club does this. You look at injury record, you look at personality off the pitch, you look at social media, you look at the whole package, so you know what you're getting in terms of the personality, the skill set, and the fitness. But that seems like a no-brainer to me. Like, why wouldn't you do that anyway? But we've saved a lot of money on wages already. So I don't think if Lowe was going for 2.5 million, I don't think that's out of our price range. However, not sure that we will be able to do that. I don't know. For essentially a squad player as well, it seems a bit weird. I don't know, though. Atete looking sharp in the training videos. Oh, mate. And this is an interesting concept as well. And this is something I'm talking about in a couple of the videos coming up. Evan says he's skeptical of certain players suddenly regaining motivation to work hard when they appeared to be troublemakers last season. I hope players work hard, not just when we're in a good form. And this is the problem is, and I don't mean this about any particular individual, I just mean this as a general rule, is when a new manager comes in, new boss, whatever, people want to make a good impression and they want to come fight for their place. They may have been on loan, they may have whatever. They want to get their place in the squad, or they want to do whatever their reasons are. As the season progresses, at some point this season, we'll be out of form or we'll have a rocky period. Will those players who've previously been a problem then revert back to type? If they're not playing because someone else has played in front of them, but they think they should be playing, will they revert to type? And this is the problem. It's a very difficult thing to manage for a new manager anywhere, because you're kind of giving everyone a fresh, clean slate. But maybe some of those players, or some players within any, and I mean this generally, again, sometimes players are already on like their second or third chance, but new manager gives everyone a fresh start. I heard really good things about Brian Barry Murphy yesterday, just like the way he was dealing with people. Yeah. Jamie says it won't be shit football, it'll be League One football, and it's not only what we need after years of shit. It's actually really exciting. Let's embrace it. I think it's definitely going to be exciting, and if you can't enjoy it, then I don't know what to tell you. But ultimately, winning is what matters if you want to go up this year, and it depends how you're looking at it. It depends if And like, I wonder, what's Brian Barry Murphy's remit? Is his remit within 2-3 years to get all these young players into the first team and play in a certain way? Or is his remit to get promoted as soon as possible? Lewis saying Plymouth is selling a lot of players. Jaden Dans seems to be that people having a debate about his injury record. Phil Jones saying, can't believe the negativity from some so-called City fans against Brian Barry Murphy. Unbelievable. The guy hasn't started yet and he's already getting stick. Wow. I think I mentioned earlier, mate, people just almost, they need something to complain about, like, you know. Neutral says, Esperan not gone well at Stoke, Cardiff and BBM connection. Could he be the perfect replacement for O'Dowda? Esperan, I thought, like, technically, I thought he was a really good player. Like, he's clearly a technically very, very good player. I wasn't sure about him. And if you bring him in, does he slow down Louis Giles' development or his game time? I don't know. But then ultimately, if he fits the system, and he's very versatile, from what I remember, he played left wing back, left wing, full back. I think he can play a bit more central as well. He's a very, very good technical player. Didn't hate him. He got injured, didn't he, when he was starting to find a bit of form. John says, O'Dowda going would be disappointing, but if we can get a fee at his age, then we have to think about the finances. And Bagan could play, yeah. Plus, you got Giles as well. I think the thing with O'Dowda is he is somebody you can get money for. He wants to play left back. He'll be on a decent enough wage. He's just signed a new contract, so you can get a bit of money for him. And maybe at his age, he wants to be at least in the Championship. So I think it's difficult, isn't it? Paul says, agree, Evan, but Brian Barry Murphy don't stand for crap and moaners. He has work ethic. And if no one matches that, I think they'll be gone. And it's not him. I would love it if we got out Galbraith. I think that Galbraith might be slightly outside our price range. Who knows, though, mate? But it wasn't him, from what I gather. Richard says, well said to Phil about people slagging off Barry Murphy. Mark says there needs to be patient. Let Brian Barry Murphy cook. Indeed, mate. Indeed. Evening, Rhys. Owen says, I feel like Charlie Crew is the midfielder BBM spoke to. It's his top player. I'm pretty sure we've spoken to Leeds about taking Charlie Crew on loan, but I believe that he isn't the midfielder that we spoke to. So just to remind you all, just while I'm catching up with some of the comments, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, we got a video on Darko Gyabi in the lunchtime, and then in the evening it's Matt and Rob. Thursday, then we got a Perry NG video at lunchtime, and Thursday evening is Evan. Friday will be, what is Friday? I can't remember. There's loads of stuff coming. But that video tomorrow lunchtime is interesting, isn't it? A few players with a few injury records. Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. CCFC Insider said I had Biancheri as one of the other options as centre forward. Yeah, I would have had him on loan. I think he's the perfect. He can also play wide if you need him to. I think he would have been a good one, but somebody told me, not someone who I usually speak to, so I wouldn't take it as gospel, but somebody told me that he didn't fancy coming back on loan, but I don't know anything about that. Apologies. Drinking my frozen water. It's a hot one, baby. I would love to see us go and get Barry Bannon. If you could get a Barry Bannon, I'd even be tempted to give him the captain. So it'll be certainly interesting. But then having Sheffield United, is it Sheffield Wednesday? We've had a load of issues with paying their players and stuff, so there could be anyone available there. Oh, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, but I will just put it up on screen. Josh says Kelvin is a striker worth having a look at. I'll have a look at it, mate. Halftime Oranges says, I don't see Tan purchasing any player purchases whilst there's potential bid coming. There's a positive, create a negative. No, I think we'll see some players coming in. Because ultimately, I think any sale would take ages. And he needs to make sure that that we don't waste the season, I guess. I don't think he's going to splash a load of cash, but I don't think he needs to either. He might be that you've got to raise money by selling players, which is fine. I think there's a couple of sellable assets there that you can move on. John says Esperan looks good going forward, but sketchy defensively. Yeah, and I think if we face a lot of low blocks and teams sitting in this season, then having those type of players who are really technically sound but good going forward is beneficial. So if you've got a solid defense that you can push forward and kind of look for a Rhys there says Esperan, he thought Esperan looked better on the wing than he did at fullback. He seemed comfortable trying to beat his fullback than he did defending against the winger. Jamie says, in League One, we're an attractive club, but I hope we sign players that will roll their sleeves up and show others what's needed. Just hope players learn rather than just rely on them. Yeah, mate, I think that's why I think Barry Bannon would be a really clever signing. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, to see what sort of profile of players we go. Yeah, I do think Biancheri will come back at some point. I'm just not sure. And again, the person who I spoke to is not someone who I would hang my hat on, and I speak to all the time. It was just someone in passing. Just said he didn't fancy coming back on loan at the moment. But again, opinions change, don't they? Like if they speak to people and whatever. And again, I don't know where he got that from. So I think he'd be a really clever signing. Let's have a look what else we got. Rhys says it would be typical of us to sign Bannon and find out his legs have officially gone. His legs went in about 2 years ago, mate. I do like that Rosiak from Arsenal, man. I was really, 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 really. No, it's not Rosiak. I was really impressed with him when I was watching some clips and doing a bit of research on him. He's a player, and very, very versatile, which so many of these young players are these days. So, yeah, and this is another one I agree with. And I did a video on Charlie Savage a while back, but I might do another one because I quite like him. Rhys says, cheaper option and someone who doesn't get a lot of traction is Charlie Savage. Work doesn't hate, but picks up the pockets of space, dictates the game, and he's good at reading the pitch. Yeah, I quite like Charlie Savage. I really do. Right. We're looking time. So let's talk about the whole subject that we were going to talk about, and that's Yousef Salich. Why do we think, or why do I think that Yousef Salich is so unsellable, or why would I put such a high price on him? Well, when you look at his skill set and you look at the way we want to play, he's the linchpin of that. He's the focal point of it. He can link up play. He can play. He can lay it off. He can link it all together. He can run in behind. His positioning's really clever. Where you watch when the wing is cut in or the number 10 gets it, the way he will run and take the centre backs away, really, really, it's like a really clear plan. Like he's unselfish in a very selfish way because he's still making a run, but yeah, he's a player and he's good finishing. Works his absolute socks off. Real good player in terms of gives 100%. Got a good attitude. You never see him sulking. Or certainly, in the period that we've had him since January, never seen him sulking. And look, people will, fairly criticize Omar Rhys for a variety of things. But Omar Rhys was responsible for bringing in the 3 players that come in January were his signings. Yousef Salich, Will Alves, and Sivert Manswerk. And at least 2 out of those 3, I would love to see in the squad come the start of this season. And I wouldn't be disappointed if we got Will Alves in there either, mind, in fairness. So I think, you can criticize Omar for a variety of different things and the way he did certain things. But I think that January window was a pretty high success rate. And they were players that he brought in through his contacts. Yousef Salich was a find, mate. I got to say. How much would you sell him for? Like, what if you're in charge now? What is your price for Yousef Salich? I think I said, what did I say the other day? Like, I wouldn't even talk before 8. And like at 8 to 10 to 12, like, I'm talking that sort of money, or don't even bother picking up the phone, like, because I think he's too difficult to replace. You can get players in who might have similar skill sets in certain parts. It's that well-roundedness for me that I think is difficult to replace. I think that's the element of it which I would find tricky is, you might find a striker who's got really good link-up play, who bags a couple of goals, or you might find one who's got good movement, who bags a couple of goals, or has maybe got a bit more pace, but their link-up play is not as good. And ultimately, it's when you've got a player who's all around that sort of quality, you don't want to sell him, do you? If you absolutely have to. I don't think, if it was up to me, which it clearly isn't, I don't think I'm picking up the phone for much under 10 million for him. I said 8 the other day, but the more I think about it, the more I absolutely do not want to sell him under any circumstances. So I would price him out of the market. Now, there is another element to it. If he wants to go, then you need to release him. I think, like, it's what it comes down to. Like, if he wants to go, and I'm not saying that he does, I'm just saying if he's indicated that he wants to go, then I do think that changes the game. So what you must do as a club is make sure, 1, that doesn't become public, because that lowers his price. And then 2, you work out the best way to get a bit of an auction going. You make sure that you have sell-on clauses and all the rest of it. But I just thought he was a very intelligent player. And I think he'd be really, really difficult to pick up, to replace. Any news on Luke Pearce? I haven't heard anything, mate. And when I mean anything, I mean anything. But I will be able to give you some more information on that after tomorrow morning. So I'll find out some stuff about that, about Luke, and see what the problem is, or see what the plan is for him next season. Right, okay. So Sheffield Wednesday are under a transfer ban from unpaid wages, but also a registration ban from unpaid taxes. So usually that follows a winding up order unless you're Derby County and rack up 30 million. Well, yeah. And this is the thing which people forget, isn't it? Let's have a look. What else we got? Rhys says, you say that, but he ran 40 yards unchallenged multiple times past us when we played Sheffield Wednesday. Chambers just watched him ghost past twice. All right, bet Barry Bannon. Yeah. Halftime Orange says Stephen Fletcher, backup occasional striker, did it for Wrexham. It's not the worst idea, mate. Not the worst idea at all. Excuse me. Neutral says, personally like Bate, 22, brilliant. League One team of the season last year. Stockport captain already. Oh, nice. Another one I'll have a look at. We had a very standoff, like Jamie says there, we had a very players who stood off the ball watching attitude for months. They still thought that they'd be safe from relegation. Yeah, I think we'll see a very different pressing unit from Cardiff this year. It'll be much more well drilled, well organised, and I think we'll actually do it because we didn't press very well at all last year. And I don't think when you look at the individual abilities and skill sets of the players, there's some good presses in there. So why was our press so poor? The lack of pace in wide areas kills us all the time, though. And I think that's a reason why I think we need to get either got to get Isaac Davis fit and firing, or you've got to get in I think we've got to get in a pacey winger either way. I think Kean Ashford's really going to shine, and Barry Murphy, I think Kean's really technically good. And I think off that right-hand side, just sort of holding the ball, especially if K Pacquiao's behind him and you get the overlaps going, it could be good. So Mark, Lewis, and PG all said 10 million at least for Salich. Someone said about a 20% sell on. Rhys says 12 to 15 million, majority up front. We've got a bad habit of accepting the majority of cash on contingency, like a few million from Luton if they got promoted from McGuinness. Yeah, 100%, mate. Got to have it guaranteed. CCFC Insider says Salich in League One is irreplaceable, no doubt. And that's the way, right? Like, if you look at it like that, he's irreplaceable. So he ain't for sale unless you're going to play like stupid money. Ain't for sale. And I'm not picking up the phone. Dan says he wouldn't sell for less than 8, but I think a club would accept 4 or 5. I'm not so sure, mate. I really think I would drive that price so high up for him. Evan says Yousef Salich would go for 15 million and 10 bags of Southern barbecue bugles minimum for me. I'm not listening to offers. They're really nice crisps. Indeed. Yeah, just what you should do is just sign the players you want and then turn your phone off. Let's just hope that Kenneth Cho's not doing the negotiations for any of the players we want to keep. I do think Salich has got a high ceiling as well. I don't think he'll play. Sorry, I was looking at Josh's comment there. I don't think Salich will spend 10 years at Cardiff City unless Brian Barry Murphy takes us back-to-back promotions and up to the Premier League. I do not see Salich staying with us much past a couple of years because I think he'll go on to bigger things. But obviously, he's got to do it. Jamie says, can we have a poll that as fans thought we'd cook last year? Tell you what, I'll ask you. I will do you a little poll now. Give us a sec to... Oh, my computer's being so sluggish, man. My computer's feeling the heat, I think. So sluggish. Gosh, this has flown by again, you know. Right. So, just while I wait for that to load, it's going to be a fire, like quick fire poll. So you'll have to get your answers in quick. Right. Let's have a look. And again, I set a super unrealistic target of trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the time the season starts. We're currently on 1,444. So we got to get like 500 subscribers in a couple of months. It ain't going to happen, but I would really, really appreciate any help from all you guys to try and get that number up to the 2,000 mark before the season starts. And of course, a massive thank you to all the members who have been supporting the channel and joining. If you can become a member, like it's the price of a coffee per month. you get some extra content and stuff like that. You get you get the occasional bit of exclusive news as well. You also get the things like the merch. You had the opportunity to get that early. You had live event tickets early as well. I might even post the name of that midfielder on there later. You never know. But I don't like to post stuff like that, like news, like because I really dislike the ITK kind of football Twitter, the whole thing of it. But it is difficult because I do speak to people who know stuff, so it is tricky. Right, let's get this poll going because it is going to be a super quick fire poll. And I'm going to put the question, right? The question for the poll is going to be, which player do you think will excel more under Brian Barry Murphy? And the options will be, where my computer loads up the page, the options will be Keane Ashford and Roland Pacquiao. So it's a tricky one, but I want your opinions when my computer decides that it's going to load up a page. Jesus Christ. So I'll put that poll up now. Quick fire poll because we've only got like a few minutes left. Let's have a look. Okay, poll. Start a poll. Who will excel more? And BBM. Quick fire poll, and the answers are Keane Ashford, technically excellent, had his breakout season last year, very impressive. Or Ronan Pacquiao, very highly rated, made the Wales squad recently, spoken very highly of by Craig Bellamy, and looks like a player that could really push on now after his injury and whatnot. So I've just tucked that in because he's not going to be up there for age. Well, the show's not going to be. It's a tough one. It is a real tough one. It's good to see, by the way, all the different the members like stickers. I just noticed because I don't always see them on the streaming software. I see the comments, but I don't see all the like the people who've got those little badges and stuff. That's cool. I appreciate it all because the memberships are what enable us to do content 7 days a week. Lewis says, how many players do you think will sign? Look, it is difficult to say because until we know like who's going out, but I will give you an educated guess. I think we signed 3. I think we bring in 3, and then I think we'll supplement that with a loan or 2, or maybe like some in, some out later in the window. But I think we'll get 3 in. Saturday night, 1927 club returns. So make sure that you check that out. It's going to be a late one. We enjoy doing I enjoy doing the late night live on Saturday night. Didn't start till 10 o'clock. It was cool though. We were just hanging out and chatting to people. So I think the boys are going to do that on Saturday. It's going to be a late one. So do check that out. But we'll have obviously the lunchtime videos will continue. I know there wasn't one today. I've been real busy. I've been trying to cram in like a week's worth of stuff into like 2.5 days, and it's been rough. And that continues tomorrow. I got a meeting tomorrow morning at 8:30 over a coffee. And then I got some other things. So Dan says, I actually think Tanner will develop the most, but between the two you mentioned, I'll say Ashford. I just don't see it with Tanner. Like, I understand like people like him and stuff. I don't see the same thing that people see. I see someone who switches off a lot, and I'm not sure that he's someone I would depend on when times are difficult or tough. Or you've got Evan Thursday night as well. Don't forget that. Josh says, I think we need 4 signings for sure. Defensive midfield, centre back, a winger, and a centre forward for me. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Like my three priorities would be a defensive midfielder, a centre back, and a winger. And then after that, I'm kind of weighing up who is leaving and staying. But those are the sort of three that I would go with. I think Tanner's got all the ability in the world. I'm just not sure he's got the drive and the mentality. I hope he does, and I hope he proves me wrong, because I actually quite like him, but I can only give my opinion and how I see it. Like, it's not personal. I would like to see more from him, because I think he has the ability to do more, if that makes sense. Did the poll go up? Because I can't find it on the YouTube thing. So did I not do it? Yeah, I can't find it. So I don't know. You'll have to let me know. I can't see it. Ah, there it is. There we are. Got it. Keane Ashford currently in the lead on 72%. Interesting, that, isn't it? 28% for Ronan Kipakio. I think Kipakio might really step up now. It's interesting. I'll tell you what, right? I never do this, but just for a bit of fun, because I just had this weird notification off YouTube saying, make a super chat goal for fun and blah, blah, blah. 10 super chats. And I was like, oh, fuck off. Don't want all that shit. But what I will say, right, is if anyone leaves a super chat within the next 3 minutes, no matter how much it is, I don't care about that. I will say the name of who I was told we spoke to in the last 24 hours. But if you've been paying attention, a lot of you will already know anyway, because I'm clever like that. But just for a bit of fun. I think we'll get a keeper in as well. I think Hey Pacquiao, 29p, that's fine, mate. 29p is 29p. Look after the pennies. Rhys says there, right? The problem is we haven't been given a chance to see what K Pacquiao can do. He could be already good enough to be a starter at right back. We haven't got a benchmark to compare his progress to. I think he looked really good until he got injured. The problem is, though, as well, or the other problem is, he had a nasty injury, which can lose a yard, a half a yard of pace. Like, go on, Jeff. See, you can always rely on people. Go on, the boys. Jeff with a super chat. So, as I said I would, I'm a man of my word. I was told that, and I've been told by 3 different people now, technically, that we spoke to Darko Giabi, and actually BBM spoke to him. So I think if they can pull that off, that's an exceptional signing, especially because he spent time at Plymouth. So you'd imagine Plymouth would want him. He's a very, very good player. If you want to learn more about him, I got a video out on him tomorrow lunchtime. I did tell you the other day, right? Pay attention to the recruitment report videos. They're not just like random videos for no reason. There's 3 ways that the recruitment reports, there's 3 reasons why I do them. Either I've heard that they're coming in, they are someone I've heard that's coming in, or a member has asked. And as this one was, it was a member asked about him. And so I did a full-on detailed recruitment report on him. And he is on the way. Keane Ashford, 69% now. Interesting. I think is a cracking signing. And the thought of him, Robertson, and Ruben in a midfield, that excites me. In League One, with Salich up front and a couple of pacey wingers, ball playing centre back, give me that all day long. 1-2 touch football, total football, baby. Ajax style. Yeah, Paddy O'Connor was never the target, mate. Come on. We'll see. And just because he's met us doesn't mean he's going to come. That's the other thing, isn't it? He's got BBM links, obviously. And look, I just think it'd be a cracking signing, I got to say. I also want to say, by the way, a shout out to the my graphics guy, Nova. Absolutely been killing it of late. He doesn't do. What the fuck are you doing, cat? What are you fighting by my feet for? Dickhead. Sorry, arguing with my cat. My graphics guy Nova has been absolutely killing it. Doesn't do all my graphics, so you can kind of tell which ones I do and which one he does or she does. But they're absolutely killing it. She's doing me one for the interview I'm doing on Thursday. Or he, I don't actually know if she's a she or a he, but whatever. Nova is killing it, and they are doing one for the interview I'm doing on Thursday, which I cannot wait to do. Looking forward to it. Cat's out of the bag now, Si. What have you done? What do I know? Fucking, what do you want me to do? At the end of the day, it's night time. What are you going to do? No, none of the 300 people watching this now are going to tell anyone anyway. So don't worry about it. It's just our little secret. People get wild over the old, like, what's called, like, transfers and that. It's just crazy for me. Like, Wayne, didn't see your comment there, mate. Welcome again. Says Kip Pacquiao for me. The way I really like the way he played till he got an injury. I do as well, mate. I think he's exactly what we need. So, like Perry NG, people wrongly say that he doesn't support the winger. Like he does, but he doesn't overlap the winger. He tends to create an overload and an underlap of the winger, which can work in Barry Murphy's system if the left side is a bit more width. But I just think Kip Pacquiao overlapping, depending on who that right-sided winger is, because no doubt we'll end up with inverted wingers. We always seem to bloody end up doing it. It's going to be interesting. I'm not going to give any... Cymru Sport, we're doing the radio show on Cymru Sport and stuff. It's just in the summer, we're kind of taking a bit of a break. It's actually going to be a full-on phone-in from the start of the season. So get ready with your phones. You can phone up. My camera just moved, but... Magic. Who knew it did that? My cats have been causing mayhem over the last couple of days. I apologize. It's the one, it is. Buddy, he's a right miserable bastard. He's lush, though. Do you know what? Right, I hated cats until about 18 months ago. And after my dog died, bless her, my boy, he's been with his girlfriend for 8 years now, and she had kittens, and the little shit my son is brought this tiny little black cat, like they thought it was a dwarf kitten, like, and he just put it in my missus's lap in the car, and what you gonna do? And that was it. And the cat just like touched her and cuddled her. So we had the black cat, and she was lush, like she's tiny. And then he was like literally like 2 days later, he's like, "Oh, do you want to have her brothers as well? It feels really mean to break them up." And my missus was like, "Oh, I don't know." And then we went and picked him up from his girlfriend's house, and he brought them both out, and they both just like touched. And she's like, "Oh, we can't take him away from their fucking sister." And then I went from hating cats to having 3 of the fuckers, and they all love me. They just sleep on my head and stuff. I'm surprised. The one video I did the other day, the black one was like laid by there behind me. But anyway, enough about my stupid cats. What have they done to me? I'm going to change their names to Cardiff related. I'm going to call one Brian, one Barry, and one Murphy. Get in. Right. I think I've had enough for one night. It's 10:05. I'm tired, boy. I got a lot of shit to do. Anyone want to do some editing for me for free? No? Thanks. I need to edit 3 long form videos, and I need to do it. Technically, I need to do it by tomorrow night. because I need to free up my hard drive because I want to do the what's called the interview, which I do on Thursday. I want to do in the highest possible quality, so I need more room on my hard drives, basically. Anyway, it's all good. CCFC Insider, send me a message about whatever you were mentioning something earlier. The Giabi video will be out 12:30 tomorrow, lunchtime, baby. As always, I appreciate you. If you're not a member, become a member. We're in extra time, and now we're going to score the winner. Take it easy, my friend. It just moved again. I'm not going nuts, am I? My camera just moved. I'm going to have to go back and watch that anyway. Right, take it easy, my friends. Keep the faith, and I'll see you in a bit.